order buys and basic filtering of data. So we're in our project in O2. There's another way we can actually add new queries. So if we right click and go add new item, it will give us the option to actually create items. But if we went right clicked, add existing item, it opens the browser and it takes us to that file location. We could obviously go and find other files, but I've already dropped the next two files in. So if we just open those up, it actually adds them into the project. And we'll start off with the order by. For some reason, just correct that. Okay. Again, change it so we can actually see it a bit more visible to 150. Okay, top and percent and with ties. So you can basically filter your data, and the way you do that, if you only want to return a certain number of rows, is to actually use the order by statement in conjunction with the top statement as well. So for example, there we're just going to run F5 and it returns us the top 10 ordered by line total. So we can see the biggest ones that have made the most money for us. There's no bottom. The way you do the bottom is to actually change the order by from descending to ascending. The default, so for example, if we took that off and ran it again, if you notice, it actually descending is the default. So just change that. So if we specify the ascending word keyword, we get the same. There is also the option to add with ties. What this does is, if we're returning the top 10 and there's other ones that actually have the same value, it will return those as well. Because sometimes we might be interested in give me the top 10 orders, but the 11th order is the same price as the 10th order, and so on, etc. So if you, for example, if you run that, what you find is you get actually 25 rows returned rather than the top 10. So it's a useful one to know, and it might crop up on the exam. Okay, after 2008, SQL 2008, they included the ability to actually add a parameter into the top statement. So we're declaring a variable. All these things will be covered in future modules, but what I'm starting to do now, I'm going to start dropping bits and pieces in so you start to become familiar with all these new terms and technology. So what I'm doing here is declaring a variable called top of a data type int, and I'm just giving it a value of 6. So it's basically the equivalent of that. One advantage this has is it will return the top 6 rows, and if you changed it to top 5 or top 3, because obviously 6 and 5 aren't too dissimilar, it will return the top 3. This in itself is quite simplistic, but as you build up queries and scripts going further along, it makes scripts quite powerful, where you can actually change the result set that you get out of them. So that was the order by. I'll just save that back. Okay, and what we're going to cover off now is simple selects. One thing I'm going to just slightly touch on, which I'll go into more detail, is execution plans. So you've got actual and estimated. What I'm just going to do is the estimated for now off the back of it, and it's whatever query that you're highlighting that's done. So for example, if we run that, it shows us the execution plan off the back of it. I'll just open this in another window, show missing index details, and we'll come to back to that in 2 seconds. Okay, so what we've got here is a simple query against the person address, and what we're saying is I want to return all cities that are like PA. So basically F5 again, if we're looking, it's bringing Paderborn and Palo Alto, those famous cities. So basically it will return everything that starts PA and then any other characters after that. If we look to the estimate execution plan, it's doing an index scan, and it was recommended this index. So what we're going to do is just create this index. As I said, we'll go into index details in a lot more detail in future modules. So I'm just going to create it as address, so the name of the table and the first column, and it's an includes. We don't have to worry about this too much. Oh, gotta make sure we're in the right database. Right. So if you notice, it was doing an index scan, and the cost of this is estimated subtree cost 0.21. If we change that to find anything that has characters before and then PA in the middle and anything afterwards, and we run that through, as you see, it's bringing lots of different cities that it didn't bring through before. Look at the estimated execution plan, and